Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Dave's so surprised.
What are we doing here? Why are we here?
Oh my God, who is this? Hi, everyone. Welcome to .NET MAUI Community Stand-Up. Coming at you from my new home, which is not at all unpacked. There's some boxes. I did just set up the light. It is purple, so that's exciting. There's the single decor of a Xamarin Monkey right there.
Is that a second monkey below it?
Yeah, it's the Visual Studio Monkey. It's like not quite as cute, so it's the second shelf. But.
I have a jungle gym of monkeys.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. I have to find the box I put them all in. Yeah. So apologies in advance if there are any internet issues or all of those things, because this is a new setup for me. I have one monitor. It is horrifying. And I am on a laptop because my PC is not set up. So thank goodness for our friends at StreamYard, because this is all hosted in the cloud. So if I drop out, Dave knows what to do. But it should be fine. Yeah. So welcome. If this is your first .NET MAUI community stand-up, thank you for joining. You might have gotten a sneak peek of the chaos that this program elicits at .NET Conf Focus on MAUI, which happened at the beginning of the month. Oh no, they're freezing.
Oh, am I frozen?
No. Okay, your video was, but your voice wasn't. Oh God, it's fine. I don't have Ethernet in this room yet. Okay. Yeah, very exciting. And so, yeah, I'm Maddy. I work on the MAUI team. I do some stuff. I'm with Dave.
Hey, Dave, product manager on .NET and MAUI, and our special guest, Shane.
Hello, Shane at Peween on Twitter, SDK developer.
Yeah.
Shell specialist.
Shane does a lot of stuff.
Extraordinaire. Shane, engineer extraordinaire.
Shane-gineer? Maybe?
Shane-gineer.
Shane-gineer. I'll use that. If this is your first stand-up, the way this works is I'll talk about some of the cool blogs that have come out in the past month or since the last stand-up. Dave will sometimes show PRs, sometimes show libraries, sometimes both, whatever he's in the mood for this morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. And then we always have a special guest here to do some demos or talk about what they're working on. And today we have Shane giving us a sneak peek of .NET 7 stuff for MAUI, which is exciting. And these bits are hot. I mean, they're coming in hot. They are not. We'll get there. But it's going to be some cutting edge demos here. So that's exciting. I just posted the links to all of the places we are streaming, YouTube and Twitch. It looks like we're not streaming to the Xamarin YouTube this time for the first time ever. So
oh, wow.
We're consolidating our YouTubes, I guess.
Yeah.
But we still have a ton of viewers, so that's good. You guys know where to find us, apparently. Awesome. So let's hop right into it. I'm going to share my screen. It is briefly going to be screen inception, because of one monitor, but then it will be better. So hold on.
One monitor.
This is our links list. You might see in the show notes that the one I originally created and posted says September 2023. It is not September 2023. That link will take you to a list of links that has one link on it, which points to this one. So I don't know how I did that. I chalk it up to moving, but the first link on here should be Shane's Twitter, which for some reason it didn't give you your logo. And then all of the blogs and things we were going through today. And again, I posted those in the chat and I'll share those again throughout the show. If you missed .NET Conf Focus on MAUI, there were Hawaiian shirts and guest appearances and jokes. And look, me and Dave looked really happy here. Jeremy Sinclair, who I know is in the chat, live tweeted the whole thing. It was very awesome. But you can watch the whole thing. You watch the whole thing. So go ahead, join in. Of course, .NET Conf is coming up November 8th for the launch of .NET 7. Should have done November 7th. What a missed opportunity.
Don't be suggesting changing dates at this point.
Yeah, no. And because we were busy preparing for .NET Conf last stand-up. We skipped it. And we missed getting to talk about .NET MAUI UI July, MAUI UI, multi-platform app UI July. Yeah. But we've done Xamarin UI July in the past, and Go for Goldman here recreated it for MAUI. There are a ton of great blogs. Feel free to poke through them. Some like, familiar faces and some totally new faces. So
I missed some of those. I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, there are some really cool ones. I liked the Discord one a lot. That one was cool. I like Discord, so it helps. Mark is a familiar face, and this is actually part of UI July, but I liked this one in particular. He just was doing a very simple countdown with a round button, and it just counts down, and he does some drawing. We love drawing here, and some other cool things. And it actually wasn't that complicated, but look at this. It counts down. Whoa.
I think that's a universal truth. Everything seems so much more complicated before you start. So tip for any new developers out there, just start. It's probably not as hard. And if it is, then you know what questions to ask.
Exactly. You know where to find us. So, but yeah, I thought this was cool. We love MAUI graphics. So nice to see people using it in the wild. No sync fusion. I don't want to see notifications. This is the other thing too. The chat bots that pop up and they make little noises and they're like, hey, do you want to chat with me? No, I don't want to chat with you. If I wanted to chat with you, I would find the chat. My goodness.
We need a reaction, like the slime reaction from previous episodes. We need one that is specific to you raging on notifications, like fire licking in from the edges of the screen.
Just like, wow. That's
flames coming out of your mouth.
That sounds great. We could make that happen. John, if you're watching.
I know. We need a John Galloway to help us out
here. This is a webinar, but the cool thing about this webinar is they also wrote out the Q&A, which I thought was pretty cool. It's short. It has the link to the GitHub demo. But I am a big fan of how originally when we started like really pushing people to do MAUI stuff. And we started really presenting on MAUI things. It was like, here's how you build a page. And now we're really getting to the point with .NET MAUI where people are building things using like real packages like SQLite and doing actual end-to-end demos instead of just like, hey, this is how I did this UI piece, or hey, this is a page I built or a replica. I love those too, because that's how I've learned everything about how I write .NET MAUI apps is watching, people and reading about people who are writing MAUI UI. But I know that a lot of folks, the UI is only part of the problem. So getting some backend and database and all that stuff in there is great too. Andreas, I just saw this blog the other day, actually. I am totally going to try this. I wanted to try it before today. I did not have the time because I just got a new Sonos speaker and I love it. I'm very excited. It's a MAUI app that literally just connects to your Sonos speakers and then you can play and pause. I think that's very cool. Like, I know it is a simple app looking, but it's cool.
Yeah, I was pretty excited about this one too. Yeah, we just got our whole living room decked out. Have like a sub and like a bar and surround sound.
Same.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm very excited.
Did you get yours from Home Depot or?
I did not get mine from Home Depot, and I don't want to talk about Home Depot. This is my happy place right here, right now. You're ruining it.
We're gonna get in trouble with like, lawyers are gonna come after us. Why do you go to YouTube and just bash us? Yeah. I like Home Depot.
Actually,
I have no problem.
Technically, it's
I don't know what's wrong with you.
Well,
every time I go to Home Depot, it's just not. It's not what I need it to be. And I just have to go there. So I am a homeowner now, which is why I moved. So if you follow me on Twitter, you've seen me getting very upset about the woes of being a homeowner, like going to Home Depot multiple times in a day. Yeah. Like, what is wrong with us as a society?
You're growing up, Maddy. You're growing up.
I know, it's horrible.
You just do the delivery there where you sit in your car and they bring it to you? Because then you don't have to subject yourself.
I never know what I need until I get into the aisle and I look at all the things and I'm like, that's what I need. I don't know the words to search for. I'm not like skilled. I just, I'm like, I think it's roughly in this area.
Yeah. Those are always fun searches. I need a twisted piece of metal with 3 holes that goes like, what?
Yeah. I could not find a box cutter in Home Depot. And it took me about 5 minutes to find someone to ask where I would find the box cutters. And the person went, I don't know. And I was like, you're telling me there's no box cutter? So I did the trick that a lot of people have suggested, which I know about. I just never have service at Home Depot because they're giant stores covered in concrete. But you go to a place where you have service, you look it up on the website, and it tells you what aisle it's in. I know. If I thought ahead, I would do this and then screenshot it so I didn't have to do it in the store. I never think ahead, okay? I was just there. I was getting other stuff, and I was like, oh, I really need a box cutter. Okay? Anyways, total sidetrack. Sonos, great. I got them at Best Buy, for the record. So that was fun. On sales tax-free weekend in Massachusetts, so that was pretty cool. But, yeah, I'm definitely trying this out because now I can, like, torment my husband and my friends by changing the songs and stuff. Improving MAUI and Xamarin code quality with pre-git commit linting. What a long title, but I love code quality. I write pretty bad code in general. But the one thing I'm proud of is I document it well. I'm good with comments and my formatting is impeccable. So the code itself is absolute garbage, but it looks awesome. And of course there's .NET format, which is really cool. If you haven't heard of it, this uses something called Husky, which is coming in through Node and JavaScript stuff. But it is a linter for your MAUI and Xamarin code. So check it out. Cool stuff. We love code quality. Oh, I opened it twice. And then finally, Dave actually sent me this earlier. So there is this company called Ditto, which does data sync. And their whole thing is like cross-device data sync without an internet connection. I'm not quite sure how that works. I read about it and it did not help me understand it that much more. So I don't know. If you know more about it, that's very cool. But they created a Xamarin SDK, and they're also going to have a MAUI SDK or create or just update this to run via MAUI as well. And they had a really cool demo, which looks a lot like demos that we've given in the past, where it's like you have the Android one and the iOS one up and next to each other, and the Visual Studio for Mac. And then the Android phone is actually using a Kotlin app, and the iOS is using, I'm clicking on the wrong ones. The iOS one is using Xamarin iOS. So it will work with .NET 6 iOS, Xamarin, MAUI, all those things. Yeah, so that's it for my links. I'll copy this again. Quick inception here. Hold on. Remove. Woo! And that's
nice.
It.
Good job.
Oh, yeah, now I can look at all the chats. I didn't get to see anything about my Home Depot rant. I'm sorry.
There's you can
Michael, you worked at a Home Depot? That sounds like absolute hell. I am so mean to people in there, and I don't try to be. I'm generally really nice to people who work at customer service because I've done it. But like, man, they just talk to me. I'm like, I'm good, thank you, and I feel so bad.
My old 6th grade teacher works at my Home Depot, and he's been there forever. And so every time I go in there, I see him and get to have the conversations about how your parents doing, how's your brother. It's like a whole family thing. You just need those family connections.
It's true.
And they're all like a bunch of grandfathers walking around that place that just, oh, you need this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, here's what you need. It's super easy. All right. Anyway, can you share my screen, please? The one that has Pong on it.
Yeah, that one. That one.
Yeah, that one. Do you see my other screen, by the way?
I do. The M1 screen.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that. That's for demos.
Spoiling it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, good.
So hello, everybody. I was going to share with you a few of the coolest things that I've seen recently. This one really stood out to me. I'll play it. You're not going to get any audio. I don't know if there is audio, but it is a .NET MAUI app playing Pong, and it is a neural network playing the Pong. So I think that's pretty stinking cool. And it's not Frank Krueger. I don't think Frank did this. So it seems like the kind of thing that Frank would normally do. But the hit detection, yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see when it hits the, what do you call those? The paddles that changes color, and the same thing with the obstacles. So very cool. Not typically the sort of thing you see happening with MAUI, but there you go. Let your imagination run wild.
Ooh.
All right. So on to some libraries and plugins. There's certainly still, if you are coming from Xamarin Forms and you're looking for some libraries that you've used in the past, there certainly are still some gaps. But I have to say that it's getting to be a smaller list of those that are really important. I am, Alan, old enough to have played the original Pong. You are absolutely right. And that's fine. I just will not actually act my age. I promise. Maddy knows that for sure. So yeah, the list of libraries seems to be getting smaller and smaller, which is, what we expect. We shipped in May, and then the ecosystem starts to step up, and libraries that are still useful and being used and actively maintained get brought to .NET 6, and now .NET 7 is around the corner, which we're going to demo here quickly. Well, not quickly. We're going to demo here soon. I'm going to get through this quickly because we have so many cool things to show you. So I wanted to mention this one, live charts. So if you're looking for some cool charts to use in your applications, these look really nice. If you noticed, I have some charts in the point of sale demo app that I shared at .NET Conf, and that was using microcharts. Still a great library, and you just drop it into your application. You can still use that. It's all Skia Sharp based. And you can see that this particular library works on a whole host of .NET platforms. So yay, .NET. This is awesome. Let's see. Next, we have a MAUI state button from Loon. And you can see that it has just various states. So when you need to do more than one thing with a button, or you just have a variety of different button designs, this might be a good quick solution for you to get that button you've been dreaming for. Of course, you can always compose elements inside of MAUI itself anyway. And then, not to be outdone, he shared a breadcrumb control. So I think most of us are familiar with what breadcrumbs are, right? Like as you navigate through something, I think it was Amazon.com that kind of first made this like super popular as a wayfinding pattern for designers. But yeah, that's how you can see where you are in the application. This is a good example over here, this production example. Yeah, it looks like what is that, a subdivision? Pretty cool. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that app. It's a real app. Okay. Next up, pinch zoom on an image. So no demo for it here, but I think the name says it all. You can get your image in there, and you can zoom in and zoom out and do all the gesture things that you need to be able to do. So if you have an application like maybe a photos application or something, that would be useful for you. A lot of applications, it seems, like to scan barcodes and QR codes and things like that and generate them. So this is Jonathan Dick's, I think it's a binding to another library, isn't it? But he brought this from Xamarin Forms to .NET MAUI, and I used it briefly in the point of sale app. It's actually still there, but I haven't turned that page back on yet. But works great. And recently solved some crashers on some iOS things, so should be good. So if you've been waiting for that barcode scanning, there you go. This is a cool one. I would love to build something that uses this, but if you need some near field communication in your application, then this is a plugin you should check out, plugin.nfc. And then this is one that I think probably just worked because it's a .NET framework, net standard type thing, but it's been updated. It works with .NET 6. And if you saw on Twitter, I don't remember the engineer's name, but he connected my point of sale app from a tablet to his, I guess, Bluetooth printer using this printer utility, and was able to print a receipt, which I thought was just awesome. And then another engineer came along and did the same thing. So if you have the need for printing from your mobile tablet application, this is perhaps a utility that will be useful to you. Let's see. This is data capture core. Is this the other one? Yeah, this is the other barcode scanning plugin. And if you look at the company's website, this is a commercial offering. Scanned it. Hey, I scanned it. Then check
I get it. That makes sense.
You get it?
I was going like scanned it. Scanned?
Yes.
It.
Scanned it. Scandy IT. There you go. That's some good marketing and branding right there. So check that out. And then this one, and I would love, believe it's Windows only at this point, but Shane knows. I want myself keyboard listener at the top of my application so I can just do all the things I need to do. I mean, how do you make a game with your, what are the appropriate keys? WASD, right? Isn't that your gaming keys for directional stuff?
Yep.
You gotta have the keyboard listener. So this works on Windows platforms. Do not believe, despite this looking like a Mac, that it currently works for Mac. But somebody out there could PR this and make that happen. I think that would be awesome.
That's cool.
All right, so that is a sneak peek or a look at some of the new libraries, those that caught my attention. Of course, Shiny, Prism, Fresh MVVM, tons of others that are super common and well used within the .NET mobile space are also updating regularly and shipping. The major component vendors, Progress Telerik, Syncfusion, DevExpress, Grile, all shipping new bits all the time. So hopefully, everybody who's looking to migrate, it's solving your needs. Maddy, would you please go to the M1 now? That's asleep.
I can. Oh, it's asleep. Oh my goodness.
I woke it. Do you see it?
You have to reshare, I think. Sorry.
I think I can do that. Maybe. Oh boy. I have to rejoin too. All right. Technical difficulties. Hang on.
Wow, not even my fault.
Nope, not your fault. Oh, and StreamYard doesn't work with Safari.
What?
I'm Safari.
Really? Why are you a Safari person? What's wrong with you? Do you hate the open web?
That was a pretty good pun. Pierce, did you get my pun? I'm Safari.
I get it.
You get it.
That was
funny.
All
right, here comes M1. Ooh,
it wasn't funny. That's your face.
Yeah, we don't need that. All right, sharing my screen with the Inception.
Ready?
You got it?
I got it.
Oh. I may or may not have been installing bits on this machine right as you were giving the intro to the Standup.
Oh, great. I'm sorry, is that a map?
These are maps. So so in terms of what we're working on for .NET 7, the priority has been to complete any gaps in parity with Xamarin Forms 5. And Maps is one of those. Foldables is another, which Shane will demo because he was also installing things at the beginning of the call, and we got it working. And so Maps was a big one, and it's super important for mobile scenarios. And so we did the work, and it will be available to you in .NET 7 RC1, which I believe is soon. So look for that if you've been waiting. So yeah, I've got it running here on my iPad. So it's even responding to light and dark mode, as you can see. And this is Hawaii, by the way. So I can come over here. It's working on Catalyst because, of course, Catalyst is primarily iOS things. I've got a pin in there. And then, of course, it's also here on, oh, look at that. The Zoom wasn't working for me earlier, so I was a little surprised to see that happen. Yeah. So
it started working. We don't know why.
It did. Well, I think it's a gesture problem for me. Like, I don't know. There's something weird about my trackpad right now. It's acting funky. So let me show you the code real quick. So firstly, I probably should show you the NuGet
Fuel
package.
asked if we're going to get second breakfast mode, which I think is a great question. So
what?
Second breakfast? Lord of the Rings?
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. I mean, I was kind of thinking Lord of the Rings, but I didn't get there was no segue. What was the segue?
I guess the initial comment was dawn and dusk mode, so I guess that's fair.
Okay.
But
all right. So as before with Xamarin Forms, Maps ships as a NuGet package. So I have it downloaded from CI in a local folder, but I'm using this version. Just need the maps. And then within my MAUI program, I do my initialization. Xamarin developers will remember that you typically would have to go to your main activity, to your app delegate, and anywhere else and initialize it. Yeah, Shane, no, let's don't do that. So trying to make this all easier for everybody. So right there, use MAUI Maps. That's the magic. There is one other bit of configuration that needs to happen, which is, I closed it. Info plist and Android manifest. You need to add a couple of entries in there, but super easy. Documentation tells you exactly what to do. As a matter of fact, I just hit the copy button on the documentation page and threw it in there. So yeah, here's my map. No big whoop with that. And now let's do a code review with Shane, because Shane keeps telling me to stop using on appearing. So in this particular case, Shane, I chose on navigated to. How do you feel about on navigated to?
That looks pretty good. Does it work? I'm assuming it works.
Does it work? You didn't believe the demos that I showed you at the top of the thing here? Come on.
I didn't know if you just changed it to on navigated to though, and you're like, we'll see if it works.
I'm debugging. It's totally working.
All right.
Yeah, no. So it seemed appropriate. I mean, I know that I may not want to reset everything every time I navigate to this page, but it's a one-page app. This is it. So it's only going to get called the one time. So you can see that I can create my locations. I set the initial position of the map by using this code. And then I've got a couple of pins on there. I've got a pin for Gerald's subscription plea. Like and subscribe to Gerald's channel, please. Is Gerald in the chat? Yeah, he is. Of course
he is in the chat. Don't worry.
So if you want to see Gerald's house, actually, I don't know, Gerald, what you put in here, but we can go over here to the Netherlands or somewhere thereabouts. Where is this?
Are you going to show everyone his address? Because that's scary.
This is from his website. It's from his.
Oh, okay, good.
It's just the center of town, it looks like.
Oh, that's good. I like that. A good question from VJ in the chat. Why not use on appearing, Shane?
Why not use on appearing? On appearing doesn't give you very good context as far as why something is appearing. So for example, on appearing in Android would fire, like if you popped up a permission and then you accepted the permission, on disappearing and on appearing fire in those instances. So like that's not really what you're trying to achieve. If you pop up a modal window and then pop one down, it shows on appearing. You don't really have much context with on appearing. Whereas on navigated to is also sort of part of a three sets of two other events, navigating from and navigating to. So it gives you better context as far as what's happening. So for example, like if you minimize a window, let's say, like if you background your Android app and then you bring your Android app back, your navigated from and to don't fire, because you might not want those to fire if someone just minimizes and maximizes your app. Whereas with on appearing was sort of like, it lacked context. You have no idea why it's on appearing or why it's disappearing. So now we've sort of wired in context to everything, so you can know why something's happening, because you're navigating to it, you're navigating from it, or you can watch events on the window itself to see what you want to do there.
So how would I, if I want to, from this page, be able to listen to those window events, do I need to do something in my constructor to connect to the window?
So the window is part of, you have to wait until the window gets set. So you can do it in navigated to if you want.
Okay.
Basically every element now in MAUI has a window. So if you just do this .window, you can see it has all the events on it. Yeah, so those have all the events now. So like navigating to and navigating from might be places where you sort of wire or unwire into those navigation events as well. I like into your window events, like if you want the page itself to be aware of those, which is also helpful too, because like you don't really want to wire and unwire from things in appearing and disappearing, because that's not necessarily where that's not really giving you a good idea of where the user is going in the app. So yeah. So now if you wanted to wire up, then in on navigated to inside inside here, you could just wire in, you know, any sort of action that you want from the window. And then in navigating from, you could unwire from the window to unsubscribe from your events. Yeah. Or if you want to provide a custom MAUI window at the top layer, you could do a custom MAUI window and do all your overrides at the window level if there's stuff you want to do specific to within the scope of your application, as far as when those sort of window events occur.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm looking at these different events and thinking to myself, what normal problems have I had or might I have that I want to address? And the density changed is perhaps one. If I don't like the way, or if I want to swap out image sources, or you know, the density changes and so the scaling changed and I want to do something differently there, that might be interesting. I saw the backgrounding.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's context, right? Like appearing had no context, so you had no idea. Plus, in forms, the appearing event was arbitrarily tied to the platform. So like that was one of the big things that caused issue with people in MVVM, is if you tied your data binding to your appearing on iOS, your view would actually show up after it was visible, because appearing in forms fired during view did load, whereas now appearing fires before super early on, so you can set up all of your views. So we've also sort of streamlined when everything fires. And then there's a few issues with navigated to that we need to sort of fix, but the ultimate goal also of navigated to is to fire in the latest point in time when we've said, okay, navigation is finished. It's not going to be when rendering is finished, because that's kind of a different concept, but it's when the platform says, okay, we've finished navigating, the visual tree is loaded, the visual tree is there, now you can kind of start, you know, doing stuff. Yeah.
And everything that we're looking at here is in .NET 6, right? Like this is not new in 7 or anything. So I just want to make that clear to everybody, because I started off by showing maps and talking about .NET 7, but now here we are talking about things that are already there in .NET 6 and you can take advantage of today.
Yeah, and then the window, if I remember correctly, the window is it's a read-only bindable property. So I'm pretty sure you could even bind to it or watch through on property changed for when the window is set. So those are all sort of useful contexts as well. So like, for example, in every single view now in MAUI, we've added a loaded event, for example. So now on your, you know, editor box, you could subscribe to loaded and it'll tell you when that editor box is added to the platform visual tree. And then from there, you could grab the window. And the window itself even has a handler. So if you go to like window handler platform view, that gives you access to, I don't remember if it's UI, I think it's UI window, to UI window, the window in XAML, and the activity in Android. So if for some reason you need to get access to those, you can go to like window handler platform view to access those elements. So there's just a lot more info about what the box is doing. And there's a lot more info. It's a lot easier to get into the box to do what you need to do. Yeah.
And I'm certainly hearing that from some developers who've been getting deeper into their MAUI journey is, thank you so much. It's easier. I'm writing less code to do hard things. So yeah. How about we demo what you have? Because I'm done with sharing this screen. Maddy, you can switch over. Because I want to see these demos. I haven't actually seen them. I've just seen screenshots and stuff.
Yeah. All right. We'll see how. Can I move? Oh, there's a hide button. I just saw that. I've been trying to move it with the handlebar. It's like, I guess it just exists. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Demos. Okay. So I'm demoing some of the new APIs that we've added in NET 7. I had this thing I was going to do in the beginning, but Dave sort of preempted it. I was going to be like, oh my gosh, I let a breakpoint somewhere and be like, on navigated to, what's that? We should talk about it a little bit. But we kind of did that. So on navigated to, and it's inside a shell app here. So it fires within shell. So yeah, navigation stuff. Check it out. All right, moving on. All right, here is my WinUI WinApp SDK app. So I've sort of put together a few different APIs here that we can journey through to see kind of how they work. So the first one, this is some really cool stuff that Matt's been adding, is the ability to interact with the window, basically. So as you see, we have this nice button here. Oh, this window is way too big. Oh, look at that. Now it got smaller. Pretty exciting. And if you size it too big, it's like, nope, too big. Ooh. And that kind of goes into sort of what Dave was talking about, which is neat. So basically from the main page, all I'm doing is grabbing this.window.width and setting it to 800. So like if I'm inside my page, it's not like, how do I get to my window or anything? You just basically set it. And so you can set the width, the height, the X and the Y on it to kind of move around the positions. Plus they all represent the current values as well. So if you need to get information about the width, you can inspect the element. See there, 964. So the current size of the window is 964. And the X and the Y also have the positional aspect. So I know a lot of people were pretty excited about being able to show those things. So, all right, now we'll sort of move through some of the gestures that we added. So we just added the ability to detect hovering. So we've surfaced that through pointer gestures to sort of follow the WinUI naming conventions with pointer events and whatnot. So as you can see, ooh, look at that, it's hovering. So when we go over, it hovers. And the really neat thing about this, and this is also going to extend into the demo, is look at, as I'm hovering, ooh, look at that, it's giving you positional data. Mm-hmm. So now, because I know with the gestures, it's been frustrating because you haven't really had information about anything, as far as like where the pointer is, what's the locations and whatnot. So let's mess with the hover. So what do we have here? If I hover, what happens? Oh, look at that. There's a tooltip telling me that there's a context menu. Isn't that exciting? Tooltips, NET 7 feature, tooltips, help you out. So there's a context menu. So in order for the, I wonder who did that, Rachel. Rachel contributed that. Did a great job on that one. So
Ooh, good job, Rachel.
If we secondary click, also known as a right click in Windows area, but secondary click everywhere else, we get a nice context menu popping up here. Ooh, add control, add box. Look at that. Submenu items. Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Now if I add the box, we get a giant purple box. Isn't that fun?
Who doesn't love a giant purple box?
Giant purple box. Green box. Look at that. More gesture fun. If I could reach my light switch, I would be flicking it on and off right now. But it's over there and I have to click it off. So, because for some reason they didn't put a light source on my fan in this room, but every other one has one. So, nope. All right. So here we have our cool box. Look at that. It's
you could go to Home Depot, Shane. I think they have.
I don't know. We're a Lowe's family. But all right, let's see. This one time they made my wife mad, and that was it with the Home Depot. You only get one chance with Aaron. That's it.
The nearest Lowe's is too popular, never has anything in stock. And the next closest one is on the other side of Boston. Takes too long to get to. So I will go. I will make the trip on occasion, but can't be my daily driver.
Yeah, here they're all right next to each other. There's always a Depot and a Lowe's right next to each other. So
that's nice.
It's a nice trip. Go down to the Lowe's, hit the Taco Cabana, drive through for some drive-through tequila, head back, Texas. All right. Yeah, all right. Boxes. Ooh, it's green. Does this do anything else? I don't know. Oh, luckily I added a tooltip so it could tell me that there were other features. That's pretty exciting. So look at that. Secondary click. Ooh. So now if I right click, so this is through the pointer gesture recognizer. No, it's not. It's through the tap gesture recognizer. We've basically added like a button mask to it. So you can indicate if you want to watch a primary click, a secondary click, or if you want both. And the neat thing is, so I'm sort of showing here, is that we followed the model of Windows where you can sort of request the position location. So if you'll see what you can really easily do, and I'll sort of show you the code here. Yeah, so here's the secondary tap event that pops through. And as you can see, the args and get position. So this is similar to how the WinApp SDK works, is you basically just pass it in an element and it gives you the relational position to that element. So if you pass in a null, it's for the window. If you pass in the add box is the outer layout. That's what that was. The add box is the complete outer stack layout. And then the box view is the view that actually has the gesture on it. So as you can see, that gives you contextual information as far as where you dragged, where you added. So tap gesture and hover gesture have that currently. We'll start adding those to the other gestures, probably more in the Net 8 timeline. But yeah, so hover and tapped. So now even if you left tap, primary tap, if you primary tap, the primary tap will also give you the same location information. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited about location information.
Mm-hmm. So we're getting a ton of questions like, how much of this works on mobile? Like, would you ever be able to long press on iPad OS, or are there context menus on mobile? What have we done there?
Yeah, so that one is the first. There's actually a GitHub issue for that one right now. I need to investigate Android a little bit more. The iOS one will most likely, right now it's only enabled for Catalyst and WinUI only because this first version for RC1 we wanted to just get the APIs out there and get it working. So that's where it is right now. The iOS one is fairly easy. When I tested it, all we had to do was enable the handlers and the long press work for the context menu. So I'm hoping the Android will be similar. So hopefully, it's promising stuff. It's always scary, but hopefully we'll be able to get the context menu working in Android and iOS before Net 7 GA, but it just kind of depends on where other priorities go. So iOS, when I tested it, is basically just commenting out some code. So this compiles on iOS. Android, I think Android's not as tricky as well, but yeah, ideally it will work in both places, but making a soft promise, depending on how other priorities shape up. So
yeah, I mean the reason that this work happened in the first place is it's direct feedback from customers who needed these things for desktop applications, and so that was the top priority, was to service those needs. And if it ends up being useful for mobile, and you let us know your scenarios and why it should be there, then we'll consider how we bring that to mobile on a case-by-case basis. But we want to be very careful also of the surface area of what we're supporting here in .NET 7 to make sure that we can continue to improve upon quality and shipping on time and all of those dependable things that everybody loves, or at least misses when you don't have them, right? So Shane, with this pointer stuff, am I able to actually change my desktop cursor pointer to like a, I don't know, fudge sickle?
No, not yet. This is the first level of these interactions. So yeah, just getting the base pointer gesture stuff there and building up from that point. So
is my fudgesicle even in scope, or?
Yeah, eventually on a long enough timeline.
Man, it sounds like you've been in one too many planning meetings.
Yeah, but as far as, I've messed with that one a little bit. Like Catalyst added some pointer interaction stuff and things like that. So it's definitely been reviewed. So it's just sort of, managing.
For years, gradients was on the, yeah. And I have gradients now. So I think you might get your fudgesicle pointer.
At some point. And I could have a gradient fudgesicle.
Yeah,
you always got some gradients in there when you do it fast.
Yeah, and then I saw a couple things about pointer stuff. So the status with the pointer features. So there are mouse interactions to some extent with mobile. So for Android, it's semi-wired up in Android. The thing with Android is that the secondary click in Android represents going back. So some of this stuff, you sort of have to measure it against the platform expectations. So like in Android, the expectation of a user is a secondary click is going to go back. So like you could wire up a secondary click to do something else, but that's going to sort of be dissonant to users that kind of use a mouse on an Android space. Similarly to like Catalyst and whatnot, we have the secondary click working. But for the most part, like a secondary click expectation on Catalyst is like a context menu. So you can wire it up to something else, but just be aware that if you change the behavior of the secondary click, like in a Catalyst application, that might be confusing or non-accessible to users, since there's sort of this expectation of the way that the way that those things are wired up. So, but yeah, and then the cursor hover does, I'm fairly sure it works with iPad, iOS. We were doing some review with, Rachel and I were doing some review of those things, and I'm fairly sure it does work. But that's part of our test. So she's working on that code probably right now as she's watching this, because I was just talking to her about it. So, but yeah. So I don't know if there were some other questions.
Can you show in code how you're setting up the tooltips and the context menus?
Yeah. So those are all through attached properties. So if we go, there's the Solution Explorer. All right, so if we just go to the Solution Explorer here, you'll see tooltip properties. We just called it tooltip properties because that's what we've used for most of our attached properties. You can add text. I have a context menu. So again, this is one of those things where it's kind of like the first implementation. Ideally, the tooltip will start gaining more positional information that you can add to it. The context flyout, similarly, we followed sort of the WinApp SDK structure. So the idea is you use an attached property via flyout base. Right now, the only available flyout is a menu flyout, but menu flyout inherits from flyout base. So the eventual goal is to then create a flyout where you can host content. But yeah, so that's where the flyout features are going in the future. Right now, this is using the same ideas as the menus, the menu bar structures. So all the work we did with the menu bar stuff made all of this stuff fairly plug and play to get it working. And I just remembered there was another part of the demo. Elon had added this page to kind of see some of the additional context menus. So here, for example, he has this nice demo. You can see these really pretty menus here with these neat colors. Ooh, colors. Here's adding a context menu. So here's where he's adding context menus.
And those menus with the animations and the flyouts and things, that's all WinUI?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all platform.
We didn't fake that, reproduce it or whatever.
No, it's all with Catalyst and WinUI. It boils down into the platform. So yeah, it's just UI menu. And then It's cool. Yeah, this was just making sure it worked. So this is using a clicked event, and then this is just tying up to the command and the command parameters. Because we've messed that up in the past. So Elon was like,
did you?
This time I'm gonna put it. Yeah, so those are some of the added things with the contexts, with the menus. I think those were the main ones. And then pointer gesture is just, yeah, it's through these here, and then pointer has all your expectations, command parameter. If you want to do it through commanding APIs instead, you can do it in that fashion. Wow. So yeah, so at some point it'll be neat because we'll wire up something called flyout base.flyout, and then that's going to have like whatever content you want. So it's sort of the where we're sort of going with these APIs and what.
So I think you have one more demo.
Oh yeah, I do. All right, I really need to write this down.
Okay. You got 6 minutes left. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to prompt you.
Yeah, I still haven't had first lunch, and only first breakfast, so I'm a little loopy. And I was off yesterday, so today is kind of like a weird Monday for me. Like I was off yesterday for my wife's birthday. Went to an Escher exhibit, super fun.
Nice. And then drive through tequila.
Yeah. Let's see, Foldable. So this was done. Excuse me. Craig added, updated all of our Duo code to work with sort of the new MAUI structures, and updated. So before with Duo, we were plugging everything into like a custom binded APK that Jonathan Dick had created. And that was kind of how everything worked. So now it's all working through Jetpack Window Manager, which is just part of the Android X libraries. So this will now be released in the same fashion that Maps is. So it'll be like a separate NuGet if you want to add it in to the to your code. So even if you don't want to use a dual screen, the 2-pane view is a pretty nice little layout for certain types of adaptive layouts that you want to achieve. So this is this was the basic demo here. So you can kind of see, this was the demo sort of testing out all the different features. If you go here, it does the nice thing where it splits it. If you go, and then you can sort of change the behaviors if you want it to be in like a single pane mode. I think, did I play with these features? There it is, single pane.
Right.
Yeah. Kind of goes out to like the single pane for the, because that was the left right one. Yeah. Yeah, left, right, top, bottom with the different features. So yeah, foldables all wired up.
Nice. And this will ship with RC1 also as a separate NuGet package, just like Maps. So lots of good things coming to everybody in RC1. And if you missed the, I didn't see if it was longer than the last one, but the new performance blog from Stephen Tobe is up for .NET 7, fastest .NET ever. So check that out. You'll get some benefits with .NET MAUI there as well. Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows.
I did hear the blog is so long that it will crash some Android phones' mobile browsers, which I think is amazing.
I did see that. So there's some performance work that is needed on the mobile browsers.
On Android. WordPress.
WordPress. But was it WordPress crashing or? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I have no idea. But that's because there are so many performance improvements in .NET that the blog had to be like a novel. So.
Were there other questions that we missed with the remaining few minutes?
Let's see.
I did see one that was, what about a foldable with 3 screens, which I think is pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. I would need to check with Craig to see how I don't know how the Android libraries all surface with those, but are
there devices that have 3 screens?
I don't know.
I know that there's like flexible screens. Like I saw this LG television that like rolled up into a base, which I want because I hardly ever use my TV. I just want it to kind of go away when I'm not using it.
That's weird. Well, all right. Well, there are some questions in the chat that we'll get to, but we're at time. Thank you, everybody who joined and was answering and asking. Do we have a release date for .NET 7? Yes. November 8th. Notably not November 7th.
.NET Conf.
At .NET Conf. So very exciting. Nothing official about ARM yet. We're working on it. So, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Shane, for joining us, especially right after your day off and making this very cool demo. Thank you, Rachel, for all the work that you did to make Shane's demo look cool. And of course, the rest of the MAUI team. And we will see you all in a month.
Sounds good.
Yeah?
We'll be there.
Sounds good. Bye.
Farewell.
See ya.